Peter and the Starcatchers, Chapter 14, The Alliance. Peter found Alf the next morning. The big man was down on his aching old knees, scrubbing the deck. The wind was picking up. To the west, Peter saw gathering clouds, dark and threatening, though still a good way off. They made the ship feel smaller to Peter. Alf looked up as the boy approached. "Hello, little friend," he said, grinning. "Seen any flying rats?" "No," said Peter, "but I'm going back to look." Alf's grin disappeared. He looked around the deck to be sure nobody could overhear. "To the aft hold?" he whispered. "To the trunk?" "Yes, tonight." "But there's a guard there," said Alf, "and he'll be wary." Slank was right furious at John for falling asleep last time, had him whipped good and proper. He put a new man on guard, an ornery old scone called Leatherface. He won't be dozing. "I thought about that," Peter said. "I have a plan to get past the guard." "Do you now, little friend?" "I do," said Peter, "but I need a helper." "I see. And you were thinking old Alf would be your helper?" "I was." Alf stood, towering over Peter, and put a calloused hand on the boy's shoulder. "Hear this, lad. Slank told the crew that if he found out who was in that hold, or found anybody else going in there, he'd feed him to the sharks." "It's a good plan," Peter said stubbornly. "It will work." Alf studied Peter's face for a moment. "You really want to go into that trunk, don't you?" he said. "Yes, sir, I do." "Bad enough to risk your life?" "Sir," said Peter, "I don't have much of a life now, and from what I'm told, I'll have even less where I'm going. If there's something wonderful on this ship, I want to know what it is. This is my only chance, sir." Alf looked out to sea for several seconds, and then back to Peter, and Peter saw there were tears in the big man's eyes. "Little friend," Alf said, "those words are truer of me than they are of you." He moved closer and put his head next to the boy's. "Tell me our plan."